Oh, hello, my Teaserking family. That was quick. Usually I'm sitting here for a while and I don't get audio, I don't get video, I don't go live, I can't do chat. Everything worked. Well, well, well. Let us rejoice. Gold, 33.66. And it's after 10 o'clock. Look for 3,400 maybe by the end of the day. But our real fantasy is silver. 33.20, 37.23. Okay. It finally gets to 37, but boom, boom, boom. Right around when the US it goes to 38. It's up $1.40, which is unusual for gold or for silver. 38.29. Happy days. Just like the Secretariat when they on that movie, when they start singing Hallelujah or Happy Days or whatever. Great news. Luke, I sent you a text, Luke. Did you get it? It was like, let me show you. It was circling. See, I'm getting like this circle. So I don't know if you got it or not. I mean, it's you. So I don't know what's my phone, your phone, somebody's phone. But yeah, it's I think this is it. I mean, we've been waiting for we got the 37 and it fell back, but it didn't go down much. And that's where I really excel at is looking at the trends and knowing if they're meaningful or not. But when you see it not really falling under 36, then you know they're gearing up to buy. So let's see how high we get and let's see if it holds. So if we hold it at 38, we're going to see we should see 40 right around the corner if this holds. So 38, 32, it's even going higher. And gold 33.66. I think we'll get gold 3,400. I'm not worried about. Didn't get the text. I think 41 is next. Well, I think the way they made it sound is there was a level of like 38 that if it crosses, there's no stopping it. So it goes to 40 to 50. We'll see what happens next week, and we'll see if the 38, 32 holds. We'll see by the end of the class. Well, that's yeah, I agree. That's what they were saying. And then we'll really get a good price on our silver as we should. And again, I as I said yesterday with the comex relating to Madoff, Madoff fell because Madoff worked when nobody asked for their money back, right? So they kept playing the game. I'll get all these feeder funds to give me money and I'll give them to you guys. And that'll work until everybody asked for their money back. And the feeder funds couldn't give me any more money because of the housing crisis in 2008. And I think you're seeing the same thing here. The feeder funds are JP Morgan and Citi, and they keep putting in the derivatives, the shorts to keep the price down. And it works as long as nobody asks for the physical gold, sort of like asking for the money out of Madoff. And now everybody's taking the physical, and all the central banks, I'm reading Africa's keeping their money out of their minds. And, we know China and Russia and India are buying gold hand over fist. So it's just everybody's taking delivery, which is blowing up COMEX. And since it's Basel 3, you now have to cover it. So if I ask for delivery, you got to give me delivery now. That's what Basel 3 is. So who's going to short when you got to come up with the gold and the silver? And so I think that's a combination of people taking delivery, Basel 3, and it's just blowing up COMEX. And then we'll get a Shanghai and Russian price, but it'll be a physical price. If we break 50, who knows? Blue skies. Bitcoin is 100. Yeah, I don't understand. Are people actually thinking it's real? And are people, instead of running into gold, thinking it's a safe haven? I think people are realizing we're fucked. right? Our inflation, we have a recession, massive layoffs, and they're choosing Bitcoin, even though they don't know what it is, even though they can't see it, even though it's not backed by anything. They're choosing it, I guess. Is it Russia? Again, Bitcoin's worldwide. So is it Russia buying it? Is it China? China, it's not legal to buy Bitcoin in China. Are people just dumping? I know people are. Okay, so you've had Warren Buffett and you had Bezos dump their stocks. Now, what I read was Buffett has his money in treasuries like an idiot, and he doesn't like Bitcoin. And Bezos is supposedly moving his money into a Chinese stock exchange. I don't know why. It's the dumbest thing he could do. But he's selling his stocks. And if you notice, the stock market hasn't dropped. So Bitcoin, I don't know enough about, only that it's not backed by anything. And who really has $117,000 to buy a Bitcoin? I got 117,000. It went into gold. It didn't go into Bitcoin. So yeah, I see it high. I can't explain it because it's not real. And again, it's tied to the dollar. When the dollar goes out, it's going to be trouble. So yeah, it's up there, but you can't explain why, and it could just as easily go down. And but yeah, I'm happier in gold and silver, and I really don't like care or kind of watch Bitcoin because I really am not interested in it because I already know it's not backed by anything and I know it's not real. You can't show it to me. So it can go wherever it wants. It's sort of like I'm not in Apple stock and it's 200, or I'm not in Netflix stock and it's $1,000 a share for some reason. I'm not in it. I don't care about it. Good. It went up. If you have Netflix stock, and we could go find, oh, there's the Tom Brady 10 count card rookie that's worth 5 million, so we can find things that have gone up. The difference is we understand if a Rolex goes up or a Brady card goes up, its demand, who he is, and how limited. It's a 10 count Brady rookie, $5 million. Okay, we get it. Demand for the card. We don't get Bitcoin. We don't know it's limited. We don't know what it is, and I don't buy it's real, and it's not backed by anything. So I cannot. If I thought it was good, I'd buy it. Right? I got the Montana rookie card. I got a Mano card. So that's the problem with it. I just don't know, but I don't care. And like I said, the Netflix stock's like $1,000 a share. I don't know why, but it is. But okay, fine. I don't really, you can't be in everything. And, I know you made money in Bitcoin. You could have made more. Did you know it was going to 117? Of course not. So you just have to be happy. It's like playing craps or blackjack or something. There's a point you take your profit. Oh, I could have won 30 more hands in a row. Well, that's why you don't end on a streak. You keep playing until the streak ends and then you walk away. Now, you don't know you're going to catch 20 more and you would have made another $10,000, but you never know that. So, you made money, you're in gold and silver, it's going up. Silver's 38, 33 now. So, yeah, I mean, now we'll get silver up to 1,000 and we'll be happy. Apparently, China opened up Bitcoin buying yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, that explains it then. China's broke. If they opened up, you're curious why they would open up Bitcoin. But they're all in gold. They were in Evergrande housing, but they're not there now because it collapsed. So again, something smells in Bitcoin. It smells like Madoff, and it smells like the housing crisis. So again, flight I got for 400. Oh, yeah, it helps if I read them all. I'm going to Vegas by myself July 24th to staying at the Grand, MGM Grand, I assume, if you want to meet me. Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, let me look into it. Gonna play some cheap blackjack. They're $2 and $5 tables. What Grand is this? Like a Grand downtown, or it's not the MGM Grand? It's another Grand. Do you have the thing with the resort fee and everything, or is maybe there's no resort fee? Let me look into this. The Grand, huh? Okay. Is 400 a good flight? And I got to see the 24th, 18th, 25th. So it's Thursday. Well, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, you're staying on the weekend. It's going to be more expensive. Usually if I go to Vegas, I go Sunday to Thursday. The Grand Old Town. Is that even on the Strip? Is that downtown, or is that by there's the, that one road that leads to the dam? That'll be interesting. Oh, okay, I got your thing. All right. Yeah, I got it, Luke. Let me look into it. 400 for the flight. I was going to go to Hungary to meet a gal, and she's not going to be around. So I said, tell me when you're around. I'll go meet you. Daria, I haven't heard anything from. The daughter is still sick. So Daria, I'm just putting on the back burner. She said that sometimes they get blocked. Her phone internet gets blocked by the government. So with the war, maybe that's her issue. But yeah, let me look into it. I've been meaning to go to Vegas. I just don't like all these resort fees and everything. So if it's a decent thing. Now you're flying, are you flying Southwest or Spirit? Like Spirit's usually what I fly. It's usually cheap to go there. And it's usually, for me, nonstop, Detroit to there. So, and you're in Pitt. So you would be a little more expensive. You have a longer flight. So I'll take a look at it, Luke. It sounds good. It's the end of July. We can bet some football games. Well, you don't bet football, but you're on Spirit. Okay, I'll check Spirit. But again, you're Pitt to Vegas. Are you nonstop, or do you have to stop in like Houston or Arizona or one of those cities? I never could understand some airplanes. Let's say I wanted to go to France, and they made me go down. Like I live in Detroit in the north, I'd have to go down to like Georgia. I'm flying south, and then I got to fly north, and you're like, what the fuck am I? Why don't you take me to New York or Philadelphia? I think my hotel after Fields was 400. That's not bad. 3 nights nonstop. Oh, so you got a nonstop? Yeah, Southwest or Spirit has a lot of nonstops. Yeah, let me check into it. Again, I was looking into flying to Europe, but seems like I'll go there, but it'll be a different week. And 400 isn't bad. And if we're at that type of hotel, the food should be fine. And cheap blackjack, yeah. Yeah, they've totally lost concept of what Las Vegas was. I mean, you liked that it was $3 for a steak and shrimp, and the buffet, like in Vegas Vacation, they go to the coffee shop and it's cheap, and yeah, we can get a fake ID and things like that. But they're so expensive because they sold the hotel and the land to Vanguard or BlackRock and these companies, and they're charging them rent, and they keep raising the rent, and these people are so stupid running the casinos, don't realize in the old days they understood. We'll keep everything cheap and you lose all your money gambling. And so we'll charge you $3 for a lobster and a steak, and you go lose $500 playing blackjack. So we really got $500 for the lobster and the steak. And now they're charging more for that you don't have any money to gamble. They're so fucked up, Vegas. It's really really strange what they're doing, because they have to pay their rent, and so it's $40 parking. I never get a car if I want to go anywhere. I don't even know if you can Uber there now, or they probably are against that. But you would taxi. But I'd be on the Strip. I could walk from Caesars to the Venetian and Venetian to the Wynn. I used to walk Caesars to the DI, Desert Inn, way back when they had the little whiteboards and they would write the game, San Francisco at Chicago -7 on the boards with marker. That's how I go back in time. And then I purposely stay at Caesars, gamble at the DI, and then I'd win there, and then I'd have to walk back the next day. Probably betting a lot of baseball at the time. So yeah, I don't know. It's Caesars is so fucked up now with everything being so expensive. What, you want the elites to go there? You don't want the elite gambler to go there, because if I'm gambling, if I'm gambling $1,000 a hand, I know how to play. You don't want me there. You want the idiots playing $5, $10 blackjack who have no idea what a king is. Oh, a king's a 10, and they understood the rules. So you don't want very good gamblers there, and you're not just going to gamble $50, $100 hand blackjack if you don't know what you're doing. That's suicide. So maybe you've got everybody playing slot machines or video poker, because that would be cheaper. But even at the sports book, we want to go watch a football game, and we're sitting there. It's ridiculous. We're sitting there with the football game, and we got to pay $150 for a seat in the sports book. Okay, so you're going to chase me away from that. It's just really stupid. Anyway, let's get a picture for D. Yes, I'll look at it, Luke. But I think we see this in a lot of places where the people don't really understand. All right, silver's holding up at 38.25. A little bit of a dive at noon, 38.22 and 33.60. So it's doing well. But now Vegas is always good. I took Carmen. We stayed at the Wynn in July 4th, and it was a really decent price. We mostly hung out at the pool, and then I did some football bets. Even though it was July, I think the Venetian had football you can do. But it was tough. You couldn't even eat at the Venetian. All the restaurants or at the Wynn, all the restaurants are very expensive. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're like, oh, $50 for a hamburger. And you're like, well, what are you, out of your minds? All right, so let me check into that, Luke. Sounds good. And we will go, and hopefully we'll meet again when gold hits 4,000. Or how about when silver hits 50? Why don't we meet when silver hits 50 at the Capitol Grill? All right. A lot of shit in the world. The BRICS conference is over. Putin's starting to just spray 500, 1,000 missiles and drones on Kiev and the Ukraine. Don't really get it. I think he wants to end the war. I know he's in with Iran, and you read all this China, Russia, and Iran, where they're trying to get um, Iran's in BRICS now, and the U.S. is trying to stop the oil from China to Iran. I mean, we're getting involved in stuff that isn't ours, right? That's the problem with the U.S. We want to tell everybody else what to do, and everybody hates it. This Africa country is keeping their gold finally. The French and the U.S. have been going to Africa and stealing their gold, and now they're keeping it, and all the natural elements and natural resources. So they're now keeping it, and China and Russia are making sure they can. So they're getting stronger, Africa. But the U.S. likes to stick their nose where it doesn't belong, and we know they do it to us. According to this big, beautiful bill, hopefully my Social Security won't get taxed. I can't reach retirement age. Every time I get close, it's next year, and it's been like the last 3 years. I finally reached it, and they raised the age again. It's crazy. But just don't tax me on what I'm taking my money back. But hopefully once the gold and silver goes up, just make sure you don't have it in a bank and keep it in a safe place. In a safe, I would advise, if you have a lot of gold and silver, and we will see. Not in the bank, because the bank will close and you won't be able to get it out, and they're going to want to steal it from you. Hey, Luke. So that's really what you got to be careful of. Keep it safe and keep it out of the banking industry. What did you miss? Not much. Little bit talking about Vegas, where it used to be cheaper to get you to gamble, right? $5 steak and lobster, and then you'd lose 500 playing blackjack or craps. You'd go gamble because your food wasn't expensive. And now the food's so expensive. What it is I said, Vanguard and BlackRock and Blackstone and whatever else Vanguard are doing. They bought the land and the hotel, and they're charging like Caesars and Bellagio rent. And their rent keeps going up, and now they're, so they got to charge $40 a day for parking. They're trying to get enough money to pay the rent, but all they're doing is pushing everybody away because they don't get it. The more you raise your prices on the parking and on the hotel room and on the food and on the shopping, the less people go there. You went there because it was cheap and because you could get a good deal, right? And then you would gamble because that was $2 blackjack. I mean, maybe $5 blackjack, and you could play. I used to take $60 out and play 12 hands and look for a streak, and I would catch streaks quite a bit. But that's why you went, and then you would lose money. Food was very cheap, and it was open 24 hours a day. Now, I went to Caesars, and I stayed there for Thanksgiving a few years ago. All the restaurants had closed by 8 o'clock. So it's 10 o'clock, and I'm from Detroit, and I'm hungry, and, nothing was open. It was crazy. And then you'd go to the Forum shops. They were closed. And you're like, what the fuck? Why are you closing at 7, 8 o'clock? This is Vegas. You don't do that. You're open 24 hours. The place, the Grand, is great. Rooftop pool. I like that. Cheap blackjack, can sit there all night with free drinks. Yeah, the strip. But that's what I'm saying, Luke. You're right. The strip is missing. Well, because of Vanguard and BlackRock raising their rent, they think I'll raise the prices of the food in the hotel, and I'll charge these resort fees, and I'll charge more for gambling as a way to pay the rent and $40 parking and charge $150 to watch a football game or a baseball game. It's insanity. They are going broke. They are bankrupt. Most of the casinos, the Vanguards who own it, keep raising rent, but they don't understand. And the casinos have no concept. The casinos are not understanding. You send me something else? Okay, looks like you finally got the silver. No, that's nice. I'll check it out. It's a good, yeah, it's probably a good price, the 400. I used to go there. It'd be 300 for the flight, but I'd go Sunday to Thursday, as I said. But since you're not staying downtown or you're not staying on the strip, that's better. But I think Vegas is just you're outpricing your market. The market's always been people like us and going, this is great, $5 steak and lobster. And the hotel room was never, if you went on a Sunday to Thursday, you stayed at Caesars for 40, $50. And you didn't have the resort fees. These resort fees are ridiculous. It's on Fremont. Okay, so it's downtown. Okay, well that's good. Never stayed in downtown, so that'll be a new experience. I think it was called something else than the Grand. Here's this was downtown, called the 49er Club, and it wasn't there long. This is a 1955, 56 chip, right? This was around for 1 or 2 years. So should be a very valuable chip. It's not in great condition, but who has 49er Club? I have another one that's a green one from the 1950s. But my favorite, the Stardust. I always liked when a little dust lit up and everything. And I like these two also. The DI and the Sands. I always loved these chips. The DI, I'd love it. I'd go putt. I'd go walk to the DI and putt. Well, I think I drove there, and I had my golf clubs. Sometimes we would go, and then we'd go golfing, and we would go to the DI. It had a golf course, the putting. Nobody cares if you're going. You could go to Oakland Hills or Oakmont, and you could go on their putting green, and you could go eat there, and you could go in their shops and buy, golf shirts that say Oakmont or I used to have them that would say Oakland Hills. And when they had a U.S. Open or something here, and they never cared. So I could go to the DI and go on the putting green, and nobody would give you a hard time. And then I'd go play blackjack at the DI after. So it was like, go putting, and then it was like something to do that was kind of cool. I do that sometimes here, where I'll go to putting green just to get out and do something. I just went to my golf clubs are in Alabama, and they're probably gone. The movers probably kept them, and they were really good. They were Hogan Apex 1982. I bought them at my college in the pro shop. And so I just got a new putter I got a huge putter and a 9-iron. So I think I'll go to the putting green on the way to swim, and there's a golf course there, and I can nobody cares if you walk on to putt, because they don't know if you played or you're going to play or you already played. I've never, ever not been able to go to a putting green, even at the Santa Fe in Vegas, which is a really nice place. You'd go into the pro shop. They didn't care. They're there to sell. They didn't care. and or that. So maybe I'll buy some golf shirts there or t-shirts. Um, but anyway, so that's Vegas, but it's screwed up because they've sold everything to these vanguards who have no idea what they're doing, obviously. And that's the thing. You think BlackRock has all this money. They don't. They control your money. So if I give Vanguard 500 grand, they don't have the 500 grand. They're just managing my 500 grand, but they don't actually have the 500 grand. That's the problem everybody thinks with Vanguard. Hi, Wyos. Don't call me sir. You can call me professor. I am fine. Are you sending me a picture? Is that what the blue is? Am I supposed to click on it and see a picture? I think I've tried that, but I didn't get a picture. Yeah, I see it, but I don't see the picture. You can send a picture. Just go to teaserking.com. You get my email, and you could email me if you want to send me a picture. But I'm fine. How are you today? Our silver's finally in the 38s, so we're expecting a 45 and a 50 soon. And that's it. So that's it. The bullion banks are done. Anyway, so that's what I do. But if you want like just cheap golf clubs, just go to the plate again. I mean, it was like $9. You can get a nice 9-iron or wedge or 7-iron. They even had sets you could probably get real cheap. Golf clubs are the one thing. Who cares if they're used? Because you once you hit your Hogan Apexes or your Pings or whatever, as soon as you play them once, they're used. And it's not like you can damage them. The only thing you might need to do is change the grip. But I highly recommend just buying those if you just want to go to the driving range, or I go to a school. I'll just go to a high school and pull out an 8-iron or a 6-iron and get a dozen balls and just smack them through the football field and smack them back. And nobody cares unless they're actually playing football. Anyway, so brics is dominating. Brics is taking, you can't tariff or sanction brics because they just won't use the dollar. They're all using the Putin's announced the new system. We have a new system. I showed you that the other day. And it's backed. He didn't say it's backed by gold, but we all know it's backed by gold. So Russia and China, how do you sanction them if they're not going to use the US dollar and you're not letting Russia use the US dollar? Then they just trade with China and they don't need US dollars in the FX market, and you can't sanction them or tariff them. How are you going to tariff Russia and China? They just won't sell to you. And the tariffs hurt the manufacturer. So if you're making golf clubs, or in Luke's case, tennis rackets, the tariffs hurt you because they take that, you make it, and then you got to add this 10, 20, 30% tariff to it. And then you got to try to sell it in the market. And my thought's always been, you just can't sell it in the market. The market has to accept it. It's like going to somebody's house and they won't let you in. No, I don't know you. Or going to a certain bar or restaurant or club, and they say, no, you can't come in. You're not invited. And that's how it is. It's the market is us. And if you try to charge us $20 for a steak and we say, no, we're going to pay $10 or $11, that's all you're going to pay for it. That's the point. You're going to pay $10 or $11 is all you're going to pay. And if you want to sell it for 20, I'm not going to buy it. So if you're making tennis rackets and you raise the price $200, do we accept the price? Maybe some do, but most people won't. The market's $300, let's say, for tennis rackets. That's what the market's at. You can't try to sell it for $400 if everybody's used to paying $300 for it. So that's where you're at. So the tariffs are stupid. The most important thing is I will read, you become a financial power is you must have very low taxes because you got to keep the money in the economy and the private and the public sector where the government doesn't doesn't go to Walmarts and Kmart's and Kroger's to buy their stuff. You must have free trade. It's the most important thing to be a big nation and a power nation is free trade because you need things, right? We need the minerals from China. If you had free trade, you just buy them, but we don't have free trade. And you can't say, well, China's tariffing us, so we got to tariff them. No, that's their problem. It hurts them. It doesn't hurt us. Uh, so that's it. You got to have a rule of law that's actually working. You have to have a gold backed money and you have to have good communications. And that's what it is. So why are we tariffing when the whole point is to have free trade? Why are we not using free trade? I don't care what you do. You can tariff me, but free trade's the answer. Sir, next week, higher or low price of gold? Well, it's higher, of course. It should be higher every week because now that comex is kind of broke, where you need you've got basel 3, so you've kind of blown up comex. So I said earlier, Madoff broke because people actually were taking their money back. Madoff worked until the people actually wanted their money. So if you didn't want your money and you wanted your 15% return and you never took your money, Madoff would still be going on. And I don't know that I really don't know what was wrong with Madoff. He paid everybody out. It's not like he was taking the money and not paying out. Everybody was getting paid out. He was able to get more money in, but he paid out everybody. So I don't know. That's better than what Wall Street or the banks do. But in comex, it's the same thing. The Ponzi scheme works until people want the physical gold and silver. And with Basel III, people now want the physical gold and silver. So to answer the gold question, you must understand how demand and supply work. If it's a limited supply like gold and silver, and the demand is huge because of brics, and everybody in brics wanting gold because they're going to a gold-backed currency because they want to get away from the US dollar. So gold, now that Basel III took effect July 1st, comex is basically done. The price will just keep going up and up and up because even who was in their right mind is going to do a short derivative on gold, hoping the price drops because China's going to be on the other end of that transaction saying, we want to take delivery. We're going to buy it and take delivery. So you're shorting, we're going long, and we want delivery of the gold. You got to be out of your mind to short it now. So I see gold, like I said, it's been holding for like a week or so, right in that 3,300, and silver right in that 36. And now today we see silver 38 and a quarter and gold 33.60. And I would think it would you're going to see 3,500. And what I think is going to happen is I think you're going to get Luke's been asking me this. Is it going to go a little or a higher? Is it going to go 3,300, 3,350, 34, 34 like it's been doing? And I have a feeling it's not. I have a feeling it's going to go 4,000, 4,500. I think it's just going to run because now it's a physical market and you're not going to have the shorts. The option shorts are I'm selling it and I want the price to go down. And I don't think you're going to see that as much. Not with all this demand from all these countries wanting physical gold. And when you see that, and who knows if, whatchamacallit, what's the guy from Amazon? I want to say Soros, but I know that's not right. Bozo. So is he starting to buy gold? Vanguard starting to buy gold. Is BlackRock's, I've heard BlackRock's buying some gold, which is really curious because Bitcoin's up, but Vanguard's buying gold. And if it's because of China, I can see Bitcoin going up, but it's still a Ponzi scheme. Don't get into Bitcoin. Yeah, I know it's 117, and I know I'm an idiot for telling you not to buy it because it's not real and it's a Ponzi scheme, whatever. But at the end of the day, the gold's the real money. It's physical and you can hold it, and we know it's limited. Unlike Bitcoin, which we don't know what it is. So I would say Awas, and is that your real name? Awasa? Where are you from, Awas? You from the US or some Russian or something else? But I would say two reasons that you buy gold. One, you got to get out of the dollar because it's worthless. Two, you got to buy gold because it's real and it's limited and you can't print it or inflate it. Therefore, it should, with demand, should just keep going up as all these countries are going bankrupt. China, Japan, Russia, the US, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Switzerland. As all these countries are going bankrupt, the only answer is gold. So the demand is huge. You have all the BRICS countries buying more and more gold. When you got high demand and the product is very limited, as it is in gold and silver, the price should just keep going. But you got to get out of it. You got to get out of paper because this isn't worth anything. These are worthless. These have been printed so much, they have no value left. And if they have no value, your question is mute because you've got to get out of your dollars. Now, if you're asking, should I go into gold or Bitcoin or silver or platinum? My answer is gold and silver. And now that we see silver start to move, we're going to see $50 silver soon and $100 silver soon. That might be your play, but gold or silver. But Bitcoin isn't real. Like I say, show me a Bitcoin, and you can't. And so why anybody, it's not money because you can't go to Kroger's with it. Now, I was at Meijer's, like a Target here in Detroit, and I was talking to some lady in the dark chocolate aisle, and I'm going, can you believe it went from like $3 to $4.75? And we both shook our head, and I said to her, well, this is because the dollar's going out. And I said, well, you got to buy gold and silver. She says, well, how do I take gold to the grocery store? And I thought of Bobby, and I said, well, you're not going to be able to take the dollar to the grocery store. And you don't really take gold to the grocery. Do you take a Picasso to the grocery store? Do you take a Rolex to the grocery store? You sell it for whatever the money is at the time. If the money is still this, and this is money, alligator. This is not debt or credit or whatever the fuck you call it. This is money. It's a medium of exchange to buy and sell goods and services. That hasn't changed. It might be a debt or a credit or whatever. Who gives a fuck? But it is money. And all I care about is the money I have. I can go to the grocery store and the restaurants and go to Vegas and spend it. And that's the point of it. But the gold and silver, all I need to do is run back to the coin store and say, here's an ounce of gold. Give me 33.60. And he'll give me 33. He'll give me whatever spot is. And that's the difference. So you've got to understand that. So you've got to get out of it. But to say I can't use gold and silver at the grocery store doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it, and it doesn't mean you can't use it. But the dollar you won't be able to use soon because it has no value. My name is M.Y.S. I'm in Pakistan. Okay, nice to meet you. I have some guy from India comes on. I got Pat from Singapore, and when I'm in Europe, I get people from Europe because we're on the same time zone. So welcome, and feel free to ask your questions and quit calling me sir, call me professor. So yeah, I mean, you want to be in gold and silver because they can't print it. Basically, it's been around since the Romans, and probably the Incas, because it's found, it's what's demanded, it's what everybody likes, and it can't be printed. So once you have it, it's there, and you can't, it's not going to lose its value now, and you can't print it, so you can't inflate it. So therefore, it won't lose its value, and everybody respects it. I can go to Switzerland, I can go to Vegas, I can go to France and show my gold, and I can get value for it. People will pay me. Everybody understands and respects gold. The dollar, not so much. Now, people aren't really happy with the dollar. But in America, it'll work. But as we will see, the Americans are going to be slow to realize the dollar is worthless, but they'll realize it. Well, you're welcome. Again, glad to meet you. That's what the beauty of the internet. I can talk to somebody from Pakistan and Luke and Bobby and all these people that if I'm in a classroom here in a college in Detroit, I can only meet people who are actually here. Let's look at baseball yesterday. I believe I went 2-1. We had Boston over 9, and Boston won 4-3, so they only got 7. I had Washington over 8, and they lost, but we scored 9 runs, 8-1. And I had Texas over 9.5, and they won 11-4. So we go 2-1 again. Jack Kowanitz, the worst pitcher in baseball, 3-9 with a 6.03 ERA. Oakland beat Atlanta 5-4. St. Louis 8-1 over Washington. Miles McCollum pitched well, but Washington's been hitting well. St. Louis is hitting well. Boston, I was surprised with Tampa 4-3 in Fenway. They both hit well, so I was shocked on that. So I go 2-1, and we make 2 units. Yankees 6-5 over Seattle. Cincinnati 6-0 over Miami. Nick Lodolo, and Baltimore 7-3 over the METS. Mets. The Cubbies 8-1 over Minnie, and Baltimore in the first game wins 3-1. Baltimore won both games. Wow. All right. Now we go. Today is 7-Eleven day. Now, as we saw, Boston has now won 7 in a row. KC's won 4 in a row. Milwaukee's won 4 in a row. Pitt has lost 6 in a row, and the Dodgers have lost 6 in a row. We are looking for trends right now. That's how we're going to play baseball and the pitchers. So we'll do the pitching first, and then we'll look for the trends. At 3:10, it's 12 o'clock now. We got Cleveland and the White Sox. Logan Allen, 5-7 with the 4.07, and Shane Smith, 3-7 with the 4.20. The White Sox have been pitching better. They're 31-62. Logan Allen, not bad for Cleveland. But both pitchers show a high ERA, but neither team hits well. Cleveland's got 2 hitters and the White Sox 4. So they don't have the offense, looking at it at a blush, of like 300 hitters. They have a lot of 230, 240 hitters that don't register in my hitters. And even a blind squirrel catches a nut. Even the 200 hitters get 3 hits every once in a while. But that's why they hit 300. They stink. Or they walk a lot. So I'm going to avoid that game. The Cubs at the Yankees is a very good series. The Yanks 190-9. Chris Flexen 5-0 with a .83 for the Cubbies. Woo. Carlos Rodon 9-6 with a 3.30. Now New York's been hitting much better, but good luck hitting Chris Flexen 5-0 with it. So here's our first play. We're going Yankees under 9, and this will be 2 units. Again, we're a little scared of Aaron Judge, and we're a little scared, but this is the point. They ain't hitting Chris Flexen with the .83, and he's 5-0. It's not like he's 1-0 and had a few, decent outings. This guy's 5-0. And Rodon's been pitching okay, 9-6 with the 3.30. So we like the game under. Miami and Baltimore. Now we saw Baltimore take the doubleheader. Edward Cabrera from Miami, 3-3 with the 3.33 against Dean Kramer, 7-7 with the 4.53. I have no interest in this game. Colorado, Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 2.35 and 9.5. Jermaine Marquez, 3-10 with the 5.84. He sucks against Chase Burns, who's supposed to be really good. He's 0-1 with an 8.10. So, again, this is probably an over, but Colorado doesn't hit well on the road. Cincinnati's a hell of a good hitting team. Yeah, I'm going to go over with this one. Cincy over 9.5. We'll go to Colorado has been hitting a little bit. Cincy's really good hitting, should hit this German Marquez guy. Seattle at Detroit. Detroit minus 235 and 7. Louis Castillo 5-5 with a 3.31 against Tarek Skubal 10-2 with a 2.02. The Detroit manager has really lost his mind. Like Skubal should pitch all 9 innings here, but he won't do it. He'll pitch 7 because he threw 80 pitches, and God forbid his arm might fall off if he throws 20 more, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The 2.02, Seattle probably won't get a run or two. Detroit, who the hell knows if they get 1 run or 10 runs? You have no idea. Now, they have not been hitting lately. They happened to get 6 runs the last time Skubal pitched on the 10th inning on Sunday. But before that, they hadn't scored going into the 9th inning and scored on a wild pitch. So I look at will Detroit hit? Castillo 5-5 to 3.31. They'll hit a little. The total 7. So I'm going to go with Detroit here and Skubal. Well, let's see. Can we go under in the game? It's hard to go under with the 7. Let's look at the last 5. This guy's done a shutout against Pittsburgh, 7 innings. Gave up 1 run to Texas. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings to Minnesota. 3 runs in 6 innings to Boston, and 2 runs to Cleveland, and 6 runs to California. So 4 outings there. He was 6.2, 3.5. Then he has a 1 and a 0, but the 0 is against Pittsburgh. So what do you expect? So I'm gonna go Detroit, and we'll go 3 units. That Skubal. Now the problem is going to be when Skubal comes out and they bring in these shit bullpen guys, they're going to blow the game. That's why Skubal should pitch 8, and you bring in your ace if you have an ace in the bullpen, and you let him pitch the 9th. That's how it should be. Forget the 3rd time through the lineup. Forget all this other bullshit. They can't hit Skubal. Let him pitch 8, 9 innings. He should go at least 8, and then your ace. Do we have an ace? Most teams don't have an ace except for Chapman and a few guys like that. All right. Tampa Bay at Boston. Good game. Tampa 110 and 9. Drew Rasmussen 7-5 with the 2.82. Hunter Dobbins 4-1 with the 4.10. Probably like Tampa here with the 2.82. I'm not going to bet him. I'm just going to circle it, but I won't bet it. Cleveland at the White Sox. Cleveland 140 and 8. Gavin Williams 5-4 with the 3.61. Jonathan Cannon 3-7 with the 4.50. Didn't we already see this? Oh, so they're playing a doubleheader. The first game starts at 3:10. The second game starts at 8:10. You are killing your players. So your players get there about noon for a 3:10 game. They get all ready. They play the first game. What do you want them to do from 5:30 to 8? They ain't going home. I mean, they're all taking naps. I mean, you're killing your team there. So you can make what, an extra $5 from your attendance. You would get more people coming for the doubleheader. That would make up for the thing. It's just these owners are just fucking it. They're like the owners in Vegas. They don't know what they're doing. So Gavin Williams, 5-4 to 3-6-1 Cannon. I have no idea, especially in a doubleheader. Texas and Houston, always a good series. Houston 125-8. Jack Leiter 4-6, 4-3-2. Lance McCullers 2-3 with a 5.82, but he's deceiving. He's been pitching better. I'm staying away. Pitt in Minnesota, mini 136.5. Paul Scanes, the most crazy stat line, 4-7 with the one. He gives out less than 2 runs a game, and he's only won 4 games. Against Joe Ryan, another stud, 8-4 to 2.76. And this will be our lock of the day. Pitt under 7, and we'll go 5 units. Because Pitt doesn't hit. They're not going to hit Ryan, and Minnesota's not going to hit Scanes. So this is a beautiful under. Washington and Milwaukee. Milwaukee 200, 8.5. Mitchell Parker 5-9 with the 4.72. Quinn Priester 6-2 with the 3.59. I don't know why this is a minus 200. Washington fired their GM and coach because their contracts were coming up. And the draft, I think, is next week. So I don't know. You got a new coach. Who knows? The Mets at KC. The Mets 149.5. Kota Senga 7-3 with a 1.47. Michael Waka 4-9 with a 3.83. We're going to go under here. We're going to go KC under 9.5. This will be 2 units. Atlanta at the Cardinals. Let's see. KC's on a 4-game winning streak. Waka, I got to play this game under. We'll go through the streaks in a minute. Atlanta and St. Louis. Atlanta 110-9. Grant Holmes 4-8 with the 3.44 against Matthew Liberatore 6-6 with the 3.70. Atlanta's 110-9. Atlanta, St. Louis. No, neither of them are on anything. I don't like these pitchers. Who knows? You don't know what you're getting with them. Arizona and California. Arizona 125-9.5. Ryan Nelson 5-2 with the 3.39. Tyler Anderson 2-6 with the 4.19. Again, I'm just avoiding. Philly at San Diego. Here we go. Philly 160-8. Ranger Suarez 7-2 with the 1.99. Ryan Burgett 1-0 with the 2.67. We're going to go under, I think. Let's take a look at Ryan Burgett. Ryan from Ohio was on the 15-day disabled list, just got off. He was a bullpen guy. First 4 games were 1 inning and then 5. So let's look at the 5. Gave up 2 runs to the 49ers, gave up 3 runs to Arizona and 3 runs to Washington. Then he had a couple of shutouts. So he had 2 shutouts and 3 runs and a 2-run. Philly should probably hit him pretty good. Let's go with Philly. We'll just go with the Ranger. 3 units on the Ranger. Because I think they'll hit Burgett pretty good anyway. And Ranger will shut him out. So Ryan Burgett with the 2.67 isn't real because he's pitched 5 games. He's pitched 4 or 5 as a reliever with 1 inning shutouts. So that doesn't count. Those are all fixed because he's going in against certain batters. Toronto and Oakland. Toronto 160, 10.5. Max Scherzer. He's back 0-0 with the 4.76 against Luis Cervino, 2-10 with the 5.30. It's hard to go over with Scherzer because he can put it together. So we'll leave this alone. And the Dodgers and the 49ers. 49ers are 137.5. Dustin May and Logan Webb. Logan Webb, 8-6 at the 2.62. And we look, and the Dodgers are on a 6-game losing streak. So we're going to bet the 49ers for 3 units. Now let's look at the streaks. Boston's won 7 in a row. We haven't played Boston. Boston plays Tampa. Yeah, and Hunter Dobbins, Drew Rasmussen. Drew is a 2.82 ERA against the Hunter. Probably should play Boston on a 7-game winning streak, but we'll see. This is a tough pitcher. KC on a 4-game winning streak. KC's at home to the Jets. Kota Sengai 7-3 with a 1.47. They're going to have a tough time. They got Waka. I ended up taking KC under as opposed to playing KC. If KC gets through this, then we'll pound them the next day. But again, on these streaks, now you've got new teams, and that's what makes it difficult. Apparently, I have a Coinbase account that I don't have. Milwaukee's on a 4-game winning streak. That we could bet. Quinn Priester against Mitchell Parker. So let's circle Milwaukee. Pitt on a 6-game losing streak. We went under with Scanes. And the Dodgers on a 6-game, we did take the 49ers. So we did bet some of them. KC we took under. Pitt we took under. We still got to follow the pitching. Maybe Boston would be on a 7-game win streak. We should take them and just blindly bet it until they lose. So let's see, where's Boston? Boston's playing Tampa. So we played this game. We didn't play anything. So we circled Tampa. All right, so let's go with Boston then. And we'll go 2 units because they're on a 7-game win streak. Even though our instincts were to take Tampa with the better pitchers. So they're at home. We'll see what happens. They're hot. So let's go through the picks. New York Yankees under 9, 2 units. Cincinnati over 9.5, 2 units. Detroit Skubal, 3 units. Boston 7-game win streak, 2 units. Pitt under 7, Scanes 5 units. KC under 9.5. Good pitching duel, 2 units. Philadelphia, Ranger Suarez, 3 units. The 49ers, 3 units. Good pitcher. And the Dodgers are on a 6-game losing streak. Now, Pitt is on a 6-game losing streak, but we played it under with Scanes because we don't really want to bet against Scanes, and we'll see. If he loses, then we'll jump on against Pitt tomorrow and KC. So, you still got to respect the pitchers and see what they're doing and determine what you want to do with it. All right. So that is baseball for today. Yesterday, 2-1. All right. So that's baseball. I know I owe you college football. Maybe I'll do that today. It's hard because I go to the swim, I go to dinner, and I go to the lake, and I'm starting to go there a little bit more as the weather's getting nicer, and I go walk the lake. Ignore these power rankings. They're meaningless and they're opinionated. So who knows? There's a biggest Super Bowl bet. One better will win 25 million if Oakland wins the Super Bowl. Well, who gives a fuck? What kind of stupid thing is that? Um, NFL training camps. Vikings Dallas Turner from Alabama reportedly scammed out of 240K in a bank fraud. What an idiot. So somebody calls him from JP Morgan, says, "Oh, somebody's trying to hack your account." Instead of just ignoring them, he responds. They said, "Well, you got to send us some money." First of all, JP Morgan ain't calling you. If they do, it's going to be a number. And here's how you avoid this scam. If it really is JP Morgan, you call them back on their 800 number and you say, "Somebody called me about some wire or some scam or something. I want to follow up on it." You don't listen to the person calling you because you don't know if it's JP Morgan and like I just got a text on Coinbase. I don't have an account on Coinbase. I'm not going to call them, because I just ignore it. I don't have Coinbase. So I don't know if somebody's in my account. I don't have an account. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a crypto thing, and I'm not into crypto, so I don't care. I don't have it. So he gets a call from JP Morgan, and again, his mistake is maybe it's real. Call him back on the 800 JP Morgan number. Verify. Go into a branch. Verify. Is this a problem? And they're going to laugh at you and say no, because normally on that, you'll probably get an email, and always check with the bank before any of this. I had one guy say some guy's trying to open up a credit card in your name, da 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 da, in Arizona, and I told him to fuck off. I said, nobody, I'm not going to pay it. I'm not responsible. If you're stupid enough to open an account in my name, a credit card, that I'm not authorizing, that's your problem. It's not mine. And so I just ignored him and just laughed at him. I basically theoretically laughed at the guy. All right. So that's baseball, nothing in football. Let's take a look at our gold and silver. And we got gold at 33.55 and silver 38.34. It was, I think, like 34.18. Yeah, it just jumped. It was 34.17, and at noon it just jumped to 38.34. So a nice thing, and it doesn't look like there's any blockage, so this should just keep running. Gold, for some reason, it hit 33.65 and then went down 10 to 33.55, and now it's starting back up. So again, this should really not be interfering. See, here's where this is where it's price fixed. Why did gold go down from 33.65 to 33.57? There's no reason for it. Nobody's selling physical gold. This is just an option. That's why it's bullshit and fake. And that's why we kind of, but we understand the demand is so high for gold and silver, it's much higher. All right. Let's go to YouTube. And I want to show you this video. Russia, Iran, and China are pushing oil prices down across the globe. Well, thank you very much. Trump has become Biden light. Trump's a real idiot, isn't he? I thought Trump was smarter than this. All right, here's Mark Farber. There's some really good insight into him, so we're going to watch maybe 10 minutes of him. He's he thinks like us. I don't know if he's an Austrian or not, but he seems like it. The collapse of the economy, gold, and things like that. So let's take a quick listen to him. Questions, comments, please feel free. We'll just pause it. But let's see.
How women in the 1940s lost weight. You've been eating breakfast wrong your whole life, and it is
Basel III was said to be staying within the technical boundaries.
Or platinum was around 850.
All right, let's pick it up at about the 15-minute mark. The 20-minute mark has some good stuff. Please ask questions or comments.
Yes, but not in real terms.
I was going to ask, is this purely down to a weaker US dollar? And is it now more attractive for foreign investors to own the US stock market? Is that what we're seeing here?
I think, personally, I think dollar has a long way to go down. And the observation I would like to make is Trump is a gift of God for people who are short the dollar and long precious metals and long cryptocurrencies. But mostly for precious metals holders is a gift of God. And every Christian should go and pray every day in the church that he stays alive for a long time. Because believe me, under Mr. Trump, the dollar will lose more of its purchasing power than ever before in the last 100 years, and is already lost 97%.
99.
Under Trump, the dollar loss of purchasing power, in my opinion, will accelerate.
What's behind the acceleration in your view?
It's called printing.
Well, it's very simple. I think when say I'm an investor, I have a bond portfolio, I have a stock portfolio, I have a precious metals portfolio. I diversify in different assets. Now, when I buy or invest in fixed interest securities, the most important consideration is the willingness of the people I borrow money, that I lend money to repay. You understand? I buy bonds from a company or from a government. Is this government willing to pay the interest on the debt, or is it not willing to pay the interest on the debt? And Mr. Trump, you look at his history in business, he's never cared about creditors. He's never cared about people he borrowed money from. That is not a concern for him. The only thing that he's concerned about is how do I not pay my debts without any major damage to myself.
Is there a risk, obviously, with that mindset that eventually we're going to see the US dollar not sort of shift away from a reserve currency? We're starting to see quite a lot of countries now preferring to, or where they can, try to trade in things other than the US dollars. It's still quite difficult, but it seems like this central bank gold buying over the last few years is is almost gearing up for that eventuality of being less reliant on US dollars.
Yes, I think you're touching on a very important subject. Of course, the dollar will become worthless. That is easy to see. The question is when, and it can last a long time. And the public can be misinformed by the media and by the government and so forth. I mean, the government is nowadays in Western democracy an institution of a nest of lying vipers. They lie about everything. Now, the Trump, he came in the administration, this is a typical example, with the intention to publish the Epstein files, okay? Everybody was expecting that he would clean up the dirt, the deep state, the filth that is going on in Washington and so forth and so on. And what happened now is there is some inconvenient truth in those files. So what does the government do? They're not going to publish them. They even deny that they exist.
Yeah. No, well,
It's a bunch of liars.
I mean, it is funny how the rhetoric has changed on that pre-election to post, and so, something else that they have mentioned, obviously post-election, was Fort Knox and doing the audits. It somehow that seems to have quietened down quite a bit. We were hosting a webinar last week where fund manager Nader Leyland, who runs Jupiter, was essentially saying that he believes there is no gold in Fort Knox, and that is an announcement that we're going to see. What's your view?
I mean, my view is that the dollar is no longer the reserve currency, because the reserve currency should be a store of value. I don't think the dollar is a store of value anymore. And if I look at the movement of currencies and of assets in the world, I believe we are in a stage of significant monetary inflation that will have to accelerate to keep the system going. And in that environment, in my view, we are moving already now back to a gold standard or metal standard, gold, silver, platinum standard. Exactly how it will transition into that standard, I don't know. But this is my view. And I think individuals make a huge mistake by saying, I don't trust the financial market anymore. I want to hold cash. Because the cash is no longer what cash is supposed to be. The central banks have destroyed the instrument of cash as an instrument of safety. What is safe is gold, provided it is held in a safe place. And that safe place is out of reach of government officials. The government would like nothing better than to seize the gold and the assets of individuals.
I wouldn't mind just even looking, say,
But keep in mind, it's physical gold you want to own, not ETFs. And like I say, you don't store it in a safety deposit box at the bank or any government institution. You find a safe place and you put it in a safe in your house, in your office, in a U-Haul locker or something. That's where you store it. But you have to have physical. And as he said, the dollar's gone. You don't want to be sitting on $200,000 or stocks worth $200,000. They're going to go. And Bitcoin is no different. It's money. When it goes to zero, Bitcoin goes to zero. So be careful with Bitcoin.
1 year ahead of us. Say, for example, Besant comes in as the Fed chair, he lowers interest rates. What are you predicting next year if they do lower interest rates? What sort of market do you expect us to be in?
Yes, it's a good question because I was just thinking, looking at the market action, the stock market action today, I think there is a chance that the Fed will have to increase interest rates. They can't lower them. And Milton Friedman, he said it rightly. The Fed does not control interest rates. They may control the Fed fund rate. And as you know, we've had last September cuts in the Fed fund rate. And
The Fed funds rate is what the Fed charges other banks. That's the only rate the Fed controls. So if they want to loan it to JP Morgan, that's the rate. But the rates JP Morgan loans out and charges and deposits is free market. So that's what he means is the Fed cannot lower the rate you pay JP Morgan, only what JP Morgan pays the Fed to borrow money. And because when JP Morgan needs money, they go to the Fed for it. That's the point. So then it's how much do they charge them? And these are all loans. The Fed loans JP Morgan $1 million or Fifth Third or any of these other banks.
So far this year, not many, but the bond market hasn't reacted positively. In fact, the market participants are ultra bearish about bonds. The short position in bonds is gigantic. And I also have a bond portfolio. I'm not that bearish about bonds because I think the economy is a disaster already. It's all money printing and government spending and so forth, and artificial stimulus. When the typical household is actually suffering because his cost of living are going up much more rapidly than his wages, and his assets. Say you look at Canadian and US real estate markets, they're no longer going up, they're actually coming off because the affordability is not there. It's very unusual in economics. The market goes up, but the volume dries out because nobody can afford it.
So what he's saying is, how can the price go up if the demand goes down? What do I say about gold and silver? It's huge demand, therefore the price will go up because it is limited, or in a Rolex, or in a nice Mantle card or Maze card. But if you don't have demand, the price should go down. So why is the housing market up? Why is the stock market up? That's where it's all bullshit. That's where it's price fixed.
And everybody says this peasant is like a genius because he was working for Soros. I haven't seen anything genius from him at all.
Thank you.
He may be a genius, but I haven't seen it yet.
As well, that isn't just in the US or Canada. It's throughout all of Europe as well.
I tell you, I think it's only a question of time. The monetary system, such as we have, has to be supported by accelerating money creation all the time to be sustainable.
Printing money.
The money printing doesn't go on, you have a crisis, for sure. Massive.
But if you keep printing money, the inflation's huge. The money has no value. So if you keep printing money, they have no value. We understand that, the Keynesians don't. That's why we're way ahead. If you keep printing it, it has no value. So you get out of it, and that's why you buy gold and silver. Most people are clueless about that. Oh, we're the reserve currency. How can we go out? Because you keep printing it. And the euro isn't even the reserve currency, or the British pound, or the maple leaf, or the Canadian. or China or Japan, all of those are out because of money printing, because the governments are getting too big and they got to print more money to pay the government employees. The pensions, Social Security are too big, and the debts, then it drives the debts up. So every country's in the same boat, and all the boats, the German Titanic and the British Titanic and the Swiss Titanic and the China Titanic and the US Titanic are all sinking. Get on your lifeboat, which is gold, which will drive the gold price up because of demand as we blow up comex.
I don't know how it will end, but I know that when it ends or when the disaster strikes, I rather own gold than cash deposits with some bank or some questionable, highly priced stocks.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said.
I also happen to think, I've just been thinking about this before we started the interview. I think foreign exchange controls will be inevitable.
Perhaps, yeah. That's. I think you're right in terms of why would you hold cash at the moment when, like you said, inflation is increasing larger than wages. If you're holding cash, you're essentially just losing money year on year. So there's just no point anymore. One of the things that
money has no value
with gold, usually people say higher prices fix highest prices, low price fix low prices, etc. Obviously, gold is at all-time highs near there or thereabouts. I think it's about 3,300 today. Are we at a risk of where gold is relatively expensive to where it was, that it's not really drawing in as much, or it could dampen retail demand, and really what's underpinning this is central bank demand? So is gold really now just tied to central bank purchases? So if they...
This is an idiot. Gold is being held down by comex. It's not anywhere near it would be in a physical market, but he doesn't understand comex. He doesn't understand physical market. And this is the problem with most idiots on YouTube, is that they see the price. Oh, it's gone up. It's in a bubble. It's too high. It's nowhere near where it's going. It's going to 10,000. It's nowhere near that. But once we get rid of comex and the shorts, and we let the free market run and the demand's huge, it's going to go to the moon.
Carry on going up. Great. If they do eventually drop, what could that spell for gold? Or is there a deeper thematic underneath this?
Well, you touch on a subject which I've been pondering about for a long time. In monetary inflation, in other words, in a system where the quantity of money goes up and so forth, and I give you an example. The interest rates today are much higher than 3 years ago. We all agree on that. They've gone from zero, essentially. In the US, the treasury yield at the low was 0.51%, and now we're 4.4%, whatever. Has money tightened, or is money easier today than it ever was before? If you tell me the Fed pursued a tight monetary policy, to this I respond, it's very strange that if money is tight, the stock market makes new highs. It's very unusual. I mean, it is maybe not impossible, but it would be very unusual. Number two, the economic literature is very clear about that. The absolute level of interest rates does not tell you whether money is tight or not. In Turkey and Argentina, we had interest rates of around 100% per annum, and monetary policy was expansionary. So we have to be very careful in the definition of what is money, when is money tight or not. In my view, inflation is much higher than what is being published. I give you an example. In Switzerland, the government will tell its citizens, we don't have inflation. But you go and read the international service by McKinsey and all these institutes of clever and educated people that went to universities, they will tell you that the price level of the most expensive cities is the highest in Geneva, Zurich, Bern, and so forth. So if we have no inflation, how come we have the highest price level in the world? Maybe because our food is better than anywhere else, or the efficiency or the friendliness of the Swiss people. But I'm telling you, economics is very complex. And to your question, is the price of gold high or low? I don't have the answer, but I don't care if I prepare for a financial crisis. What do I care if it's expensive or not? I care about owning it after the crisis ends. And I can tell you, in the next crisis, a lot of people, including, say, out of the 100 richest people, 50% will be gone. Gone. Because in a crisis, things happen that are very bad. I mean, you can't imagine the people in China before the communists arrived were rich beyond the dream, because it's a country with 1 billion people. So the few people that controlled things, they were immensely rich, relatively speaking. The communists came, everything zero. The communists came in Eastern Europe and Russia, everything zero. The zero is a common occurrence in history, that entire cities, countries, people, industries go bust.
Yeah. Well, it seems like we're almost on
And
our
I
way.
want, in that situation, I mean, I'm not sure gold will be very helpful because they might take it away from you. That's why I say you have to have it in a safe place. But even if you have it in a safe place, it could be that you will lose your life. That I want to stress. You know, that the climate nowadays, this is what I'm answering when people ask me, what do you think about the stock market? Well, some stock markets are cheap, like Brazil and Hong Kong and China, and the Asian markets are not terribly expensive. But the US, considering the geopolitical problems, the domestic problems, the economic situation with its debt, and the inability of politicians to actually cut down the debt or increase taxation, this inability. Given all these conditions, I don't think the stock market should be where it is.
We spoke back in November at the Precious Metal Summit, and you mentioned then that platinum was looking likely to be one of the next metals to.
Okay. I don't care about that. So that's what we have. I got to watch this one later, arthritis relief diet, and I will check back in with you on that one. So we're getting, as we get older, a little more arthritis, and it's probably don't eat sugar. It's the same old. Let's see where we're at in gold and silver. Silver 38.36 staying nicely. Gold 33.55 staying nicely. So those are good signs. And that's what we're looking for. So I'll read that one. Basically, all these health ones are stay away from sugar, stay away from carbs, and eat your veggies and your avocados and your olive oil. Stay away from vegetable oil. The more I see these different things, don't eat vegetable oil. Don't eat the foods that are with all the preservatives in it. Don't eat, the sugars, and eat your avocados and eat your veggies and your meats, and be careful. Have grass-fed meat if you can. I am finding grass-fed hamburger at Meijer's. That's not bad, or Walmart. That's a pretty good price. The steaks are a little bit pricey because they're not. It's like $12, but it's not a 1-pounder. It's for 10 ounces. So you get it like half a steak, but they're still charging a lot. So if I'm going to eat grass-fed, I'm going to make the hamburgers. They don't really taste much different. You're eating the cow. So instead of having the hormone shot into them, it's that. Anyway, Farber sounds pretty Austrian, I guess. And basically what he's saying is the dollar's collapsing. The market will collapse. Buy your gold and just hold it, but be careful. Don't hold it at a bank, and make sure it's physical, which is what we say every day here. Just, you cannot buy ETFs. And again, the questions that I get is, you can't hold this. Holding this is not the answer, because this is losing value because they keep printing it, because they have to. They have to pay the bills. So now you've got pensions, and you've got the debt, and you've got a lot of government employees, and all this costs money, which you don't have. You usually sell your treasuries to get that money, but you can't, because in the U.S. nobody wants them. So it ends up where you're printing. And as you know, the more you print, the less it's worth. We're down 99%. I don't know. He said 97. I really think it's 100, because I don't think the dollar's got any value. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and it was like 3 items in them at $20. I think I got chicken was $12. I think the hamburgers were $12, and I got something else, and it was I got nuts. I got almonds was $6 for 16 ounces. So 3 items, I'm already over $20. I'm surprised the almonds are that much. And the chicken, it was reasonably priced chicken. And again, the grass-fed, $6 a pound. What are you going to do? And then I got my veggies. I got a lot of veggies yesterday. And I made the mistake last time of not cutting my cauliflower up, and then it goes bad. It's there. I don't want to cut it up. Like, it takes all of 2 minutes, and I think you're just tired. So yesterday when I went, I cut up my celery, I cut up my cauliflower, I cut up my broccoli, I cut up my peppers. I have spinach, which you don't have to cut up, so I'm all set with that. Now I just got to make a salad. And I still have some hamburger left, and or I can make an omelet. So it's, what do I want to make? And that's where I'm at. So like I said, I haven't heard from Daria in a few days, but she said there are having problems with no internet on the mobile phones. I don't think there's a reason she's not talking to me. And I've never really thought that. She just goes on about her business. And that's it. I got to look into Luke in Las Vegas, the 24th through the 27th. Let me just write those dates down. And this is at the Grand, which is downtown. All right. So I'll have to look at that. I've never stayed downtown in Vegas. I like going to Caesars and going to Venetian and playing poker and watching my sports and betting on them. So we'll see. See if we can get a plane, and we'll see what else is going on. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Again, baseball, Yankees under 9, 2 units. Cincinnati over 9.5, 2 units. Detroit, 3 units. Boston, 2 units. Pitt under 7, 5 units. KC under 9.5, 2 units. Philly, 3 units. The 49ers, 3 units. Now, again, we're betting Boston on a 7-game win streak. We're playing the under in the KC game, 2 really good pitchers. Milwaukee is on a 4-game winning streak, but we don't like the pitching. Pittsburgh's under 6 with Scanes on the mound. Pitt's on a 6-game losing streak, but with Scanes on the mound, I'm going to go under instead of Pitt. And the Dodgers are on a 6-game losing streak, so I am playing the 49ers in that situation. All right, so I will leave you with that. I want to come back on with college football, the Conference USA. I got to do the MAC. I got to do the Sun Belt and the Mountain West. And those I can probably do 2 at a time because they're just more or less 9 or 10 teams, where the Big Ten's 18 teams and the SEC 16 and the ACC 16 and the Big 12 is 16. So you got like 16 teams in all these conferences. So we will see. Silver hanging in 38.37 and gold 33.52. So we're happy to see gold in the 33.50s, maybe another push to get it to 3,400, but that's okay. It's been hanging at 28.90 or 32.80 to 33.30. So it's nice to see it finally run to 33.65 actually. And then silver up $1.50 at 38.37, finally over 37, finally in the 38s. Look for it to now go to 50. Mark McGuire, I didn't see today. That's why I showed you Farber. I saw his, but I didn't see Mark's. So Mark's normally on every Friday. I'm surprised he's not on today. And again, his are recorded on Wednesday, so they have plenty of time. I do mine live, so I can answer your questions. And like with Luke talking about Vegas, it gets us into a different topic. Like, why is Vegas so stupid that they've raised all their prices in order to get money when that's the exact opposite? See, if Vegas would not charge parking and lower their hotel and lower their food and lower their gambling, they would make a lot more money because they would get more people in to gamble, and then they would lose $1,000 gambling. But you chase everybody away with high hotel and high food bills. Now I've heard, well, the millennials don't gamble. Oh, well, fuck them. I don't want them at my casino. I want gamblers, but I chase away gamblers. So the millennials come and they go to the clubs. Well, that's a separate issue. Go take them there, but I don't want to make money on the club people. My goal is to make money on the gamblers because I am a casino. I think they lose track of what they are and how they do it. But that's what I would do. Anyway, I think that's it. So we got baseball. We've got gold and silver. Gold or silver 38.36. So we're really happy with silver finally making the move. Gold 33.50. So gold's taking a nice chunk. Again, we see gold goes up $40, $50. We're waiting for silver to start going up $40, $50. And there's really no reason it isn't. But we're seeing 38. We should see 40, which would get us to 50. And off we go. But we did break that 35.36, and it really never broke under 36 for a week or two, maybe a 35.90, but then back into the 36s. And now finally, one day we go 37.38. So that's a good thing. So anyway, that's what's happening. And I think that's it. Have a nice weekend. It's July 11th, 7/11. Good luck day. And we'll see with the baseball. And again, just buy your gold and silver because you have to get out of the dollar. Be careful of Bitcoin because we don't know what it is. We don't know why it went up. Luke says because China's now getting involved. China had bankrupted, but it's not really, oh, let's invest in Bitcoin. It's not real. It's a Ponzi scheme. So if people want to play it, good luck. How they think it's real, I don't know. It's never going to be money because it's private and it's not backed by anything. So just be careful. The fact it's 110 or 115, it's all Ponzi scheme. It's just like Madoff. It's just like comex. Why is gold so low? Why is silver so low? Because it's being controlled. Why is Bitcoin so high? Because it's being controlled. They obviously want you in Bitcoin. They're obviously jacking the price up, and you're gonna get it pretty good when it drops. So I don't know anybody stupid enough to buy it at 117 or 115 or 110. You got to be out of your mind. If you got that kind of money, you should be in. You should be in gold and silver, which leads you into who's really buying Bitcoin. It's not the pension funds, and it's, there is an ETF in it, but that's it. But ETFs are for pensions and 401ks because they can't buy physical, and they're the ones who are going to get screwed. You're going to lose your pension and your 401k. So the advice is to get into gold and silver, and you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it because they're printing the dollar to death. That you know. All right. Let's have a good day. www.teaserking.com. And I will talk to you later. All right. Hopefully I'll do a football show and squeeze that in today. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day.